Hi everyone. So it's been some time that I made this sort of video. Think it more of a buying guide because I'm trying to help you by telling you how I decide my phones. The main reason I'm making this video because I go through the same dilemma as you guys because I have to purchase my device. I don't get review units. So I have an iPhone 12, S20 FE and a Pixel 4a. I can also count Samsung A52 as well. So this will give you a complete idea of a mid-range phone, upper mid-ranger, flagship killer and a flagship itself. So let's talk about it. Let's start with mid-rangers, which will cost you around $200 to $350, and in Indian currency it's going to be around 15,000 to 25,000 rupees. And I know a lot of people think the specs are equal to performance, but it's not the case. I already made a video about it, so if you haven't watched it, please go watch it because it will give you a great idea. But in short, software plays a huge role in day-to-day performance. So now, how I decide to purchase a smartphone. So I usually make a priority list, which in my case, in the same order. The software will come first, then display, then sound, then battery, then performance, and then camera. I always prefer compact phones, and I know this priority list can be different for different people. So we have a lot of devices in this price range. Right now Note 10 is basically leading the market because of its price to specs ratio. But as I said, software matters to me, not because of the performance itself, but for the security purposes. So my basic smartphone list will always have Apple, Samsung and Google on the top, and then I will decide between Motorola, Nokia and OnePlus. Yes, sometimes Samsung has more bloatware than OnePlus, but the Knox security wins in security department. So at $200 to $350, I would not recommend Apple devices even if you get 6s, 7 or 8. So these are very old devices and the battery backup is not good. So if I don't have any budget issues in this price bracket, I would definitely choose Samsung A52 over any of that. It's not the best performing device in this price range, but it's a decent phone with great battery life, good camera, good display, and it gives you overall good performance. If your budget is not that much, I would recommend Moto G5G or Samsung M51. Yes, you will not get the complete One UI experience, but it's a really good device. And if you want to go lower than that, Redmi Note series is good, but if you're planning to use a custom ROM. But if you don't have time for that, I would suggest not buying Redmi 10 series. Now let's talk about the $350 to $500 mark, which is going to be 25,000 to 35,000 rupees. This is more of an upper mid-range market, and I know a lot of you are not going to agree with me, but I still think the Pixel 4 is a very good device in this price range if gaming is not your priority. If you want to just go for performance, I think the option of Vivo X60 is also good, but you're going to lose some of the major features like stereo speakers, and you have to compromise on OS security as well. I will not recommend Samsung A72 because it's kind of a bigger brother of A52, so I would rather suggest going for A52 and purchasing the 25-watt charger. OnePlus Note can be a good option too, but I will still choose Pixel 4 and Samsung A52 because I want more stable and secure software. I want that stereo speaker for good media experience, which X60 and OnePlus Note both lacks. I could also mention iPhone SE in this price range, but the reason I do not recommend this device because it does not have a great display for playing games, watching media and just typing as well, and it does not have a great battery life, so I don't want to purchase a phone which will not last me a single day. Okay, before fighting in the comment section just because you purchased a device and you want someone else to feel the same way, I know it's really hard for you to accept that you do not have the best phone in that particular price range. There is no perfect device, it's all about the priorities. So let's not try to push your thing into someone else's mind. Let them decide and help them. Now let's talk about the $500 to $700 price range, which is going to be 35,000 to 50,000 rupees in India. A lot of devices has been launched in this price range, but my first pick will be the S20 FE 5G in this price range in whichever country you are. There is also a debate going on between Samsung S20 FE 5G, OnePlus 9R, OnePlus 9 and Vivo X60 Pro. See, I will not recommend or ask you to purchase Vivo X60 Pro for multiple reasons. It does not have IP rating, no stereo speakers, no Wi-Fi 6, and the OS security is still in the grey area. So I would recommend going for OnePlus 9R and save some money. So the reason I recommend Samsung S20 FE 5G over OnePlus 9R because it's basically a flagship phone with a plastic back and thick bezels. I mean, come on, we are still fighting between Snapdragon 865, 865 Plus and 870. They're basically the same CPU. 865 Plus and 870 is basically higher clock version of 865. So yes, in this price range, either go for Samsung S20 FE 5G, OnePlus 9R, or I could recommend iPhone 11, but you will be compromising on the display. But if you are from Apple devices or Apple ecosystem, I think iPhone 11 is a good choice as well. I would not recommend OnePlus 9 because of multiple reasons. One, it does not have the same feature with the international market. That's why I think OnePlus 9R is a consolation price for us. And second, it does have a plastic frame and no OIS, which does not make sense in this price range. Okay, now we are crossing that premium mid-range department department and the flagship killer, and we are going into the flagship department. So it's going to be over $700 or 50,000 rupees. And in this price range, people are usually a little bit flexible. So if they want, they can extend their budget. In this price range, I think the performance and display should be your last criteria, because every device have AMOLED and the latest chipset. Now in this price range, people will go for a dedicated phone like a gaming device for ROG 5 or a camera device for iPhone 12 mini. And if you want to go all out, you can go for iPhone 12 Pro Max or Samsung S21 Ultra. You can also try the new Mi 11 Ultra, which is going to launch on 23rd April. So I had an S21 Ultra and S21 Plus. I have iPhone 12, and if I want, I can upgrade to iPhone 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max. But I sold my S21 Ultra and S21 Plus and stick to this iPhone 12. It's not because they are bad devices, it's just I like the compact size of this phone. Also, the 60Hz is much more smoother than that 120Hz refresh rate on S21 Ultra. So there's a difference between fast and smooth. I think iOS is much more smoother than S21 Ultra. You also have an option for OnePlus 9 Pro and Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. But before commenting on those devices, I want to talk about Apple and Samsung here. So Apple and Samsung does not only provide hardware, they also invest in software. So they're going to research a lot on software. They also provide you an ecosystem. And if you're spending that much money into a system, you also need to think about the system around or the technology around those devices. So let's suppose what type of tablet you're going to use, if you're ever going to use that. And if you're using a system like I'm using MacBook, and if you want to use an earphone or true wireless earphones, and if you have a TV, what sort of smart TV do you have? So I think in that sort of scenario, Apple and Samsung are leading the market because they have a good overall ecosystem. Samsung also provide you additional features like DeX support, which you can actually convert your phone into a desktop PC. And there's another thing you need to think about, the security and data privacy of your system. How much control do you have? So in that department, Apple gives you more control, and Samsung does have security chip built inside. With all that considered, I always prefer Samsung and Apple in this price range, because not only they give you the good software updates, they also give you a good security. And with the Chinese brands like Xiaomi and OnePlus, there will always be a security threat. It's not they're trying to steal your data, but sometimes they have to send some data to their headquarters in China, and the law states that they have to share that data to Chinese government. I mean, they can't do anything about it. I know a lot of people who cannot use those Chinese phones just because their company does not allow that. See, I really don't have anything against this company, but you know my priorities now, and whenever you will come for a suggestion to me, you need to think about this point. It's not all about specs. So that was for this video. I hope I helped someone, or at least make you understand how I choose my devices and why. And let's try to have a healthy conversation in the comment section. No fights. Do like this video if it does make sense, and do subscribe to my channel if you want this experience-based content. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.